webinar. I'd also like to pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and Aboriginal elders of other communities who may be here today. My name is Vivica Pedersen. I'm from the State Office of Neighbourhood Watch Victoria. For those who don't know us, we're a community-based crime prevention program which aims to improve the quality of life within neighbourhoods by minimising preventable crime and promoting closer community ties. Our program relies on the community and the police working together in partnerships to achieve the aims that we've set out. This evening, this session is a part of our Building Community Together project, which works with developers, communities, estates to help the neighbours connect with each other, look out for one another and care for themselves and their environment and their neighbourhood. This session aims to be about what's happening in your community, particularly giving you advice around safety. So be that safety within your home against burglary or from natural disaster or from fire as well. So we might as well get rolling. Our first speaker is Miranda Luck. She's the Deputy Controller of Community Engagement of the Pakenham unit of the SES. And I'd like to welcome you on board this evening, Miranda, and off you go.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I also acknowledge the the lands on which we meet on today. So I'm on the Bunurong and Wurundjeri people's land, and I pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. So I'm going to share my screen. So obviously the SES, we are the lead control agency for quite a few things. So we're the control agency for road crash here in Victoria. So any road crash that sort of happens, we will get called to if there's a possible person trapped or an entrapment of any type for somebody who may not be able to get out of a vehicle, or to assist ambulance. So if there's somebody stuck in a vehicle that is unwell and not able to get out, then we can go and assist them to be able to get that person out safely. We're also the lead control agency for earthquake, tsunami, so obviously floods and storm damage. So we do cover quite a fair few different areas and natural disasters that can happen. We obviously had the earthquake not too long ago. Thankfully, our area here in Pakenham wasn't hard hit. We only had a few building damage jobs that we needed to go out to, which were mainly people's tiles that had been dislodged on their roof, which was fortunate. So that was a really good outcome for us. Obviously, it's a bit backwards. The less we work, the better it is, because it means that then that way there isn't people who are needing our assistance. So the Pakenham SES unit is 100% volunteer based. All the way from our unit controller through our deputy controllers and down to our active members. We are all volunteers. We currently have around 75 volunteers. Not all are active as in turning out, but we have people that work in the background as well, helping with administration, helping on major events where we might need people coming in, helping with administration and things like that. So community events, obviously we have people who may not turn out to jobs, but they may come and assist with the community events that we run. So I'm going to share my screen because we've had an upgrade of our Vic SES website, which I would love to share with you. This is our state emergency service website. It is extremely user-friendly, and it's taken a long time for us to get to this space in order to be able to share it with you. We have the most important thing, which I think is invaluable within our communities. Our website can be translated into many different languages, which is fantastic. So there's many different languages that are within the list, which means that it is very accessible for everybody within our community, which I think is fantastic. So to start with, we obviously have our number at the top here. So obviously if it's a flood or storm emergency, our 132500 number is the number that you would call. If it's life-threatening in any way, shape or form, then 000 is obviously your best friend in that regard. So we want to make sure that, you know, you understand that call us if you have a tree that's fallen, that's blocking access within your driveway. But if a tree is fallen on your house and it's possibly threatening anybody within that house, please ensure you call 000. So all of the calls that go through our call centres, whether it's our 132-500 number or our 000 number, they all get triaged when they come through to us. So, but it's always important that if there's any threat to life that you do call 000, because there may be other agencies that need to be involved within that particular event as well. So we obviously have our different tabs at the top here, which give you lots of information around planning and staying safe. So there's a lot of information under that around how you can sort of protect your property and get it ready if you know that there's a big storm coming. So things like making sure that you're tying down things like trampolines, outdoor settings. We have had 4 trampolines in the last storm event that we've just had that have ended up on people's roofs, in different people's backyards. One smashed a sliding glass door of their neighbor's house. So trampolines are one of those things that as soon as the wind picks up, they're like kites with no string. So definitely have a look at some of those things. We've got information on here. If you want to become part of the State Emergency Service and you'd like to volunteer your time, there's information on here how you do that. Us as the Pakenham unit, we often have information days where you can come in and hear about our service and what we do. And you can then decide whether or not volunteering is something that you think is for you or not. Knowing your hazards. So again, it talks a lot about things like the one that you just seen pop across your screen just before. A car can float in 15 centimeters of water. So please ensure that you are not driving through floodwaters. We have quite a few of calls. 15 centimeters to float is the big thing. And if you actually go onto that, there's actually a video of a car that they start sort of from no water and then they add water, and it's amazing to see how quickly the car becomes buoyant and non-drivable. So about us, so again, there's some other information on there, news and media campaigns, as well as some activities. So there's also some stuff on here for children. So there's some colouring pages that you can print off and things like that. So getting your home ready and prepare an emergency plan are some really good places that you can jump into. And your ready plan will go through and give you some really good ideas on things that you can have put together if you know that there's particular events that are coming up that you might be impacted by. So please, have a look at some of those tabs. Our local flood information is another good one because that will give you exactly what's going on in your local area. So again, your local unit, which is us. So over here, you can jump on board and have a look at that. There's some stuff around preparing your home. So there's an amazing video that you can watch that talks about some of the things that you can do around your home. Like I said, securing items is one thing, emptying your downpipes and your gutters and things like that is another. We have a lot of houses that we get called out to when we have large amounts of rain because we have water coming inside the house. And a lot of the time that's due to the fact that the downpipes and drains around the house are all blocked and the water has nowhere else to go. So it seeps over and actually comes down inside the house. So Vic Emergency app, if you haven't downloaded it and you don't have that on your mobile phone, I highly recommend you getting it, not only just for storm events and to know what's going on in your local area, but obviously during the fire season, it's always great. And then your bomb weather warnings will give you information around what kind of rain you can expect in your local area. Our Facebook page is another wealth of knowledge. So if you are a Facebooker and you have Facebook, jump on there and give our page a like. We have 125,000 people who follow us. And there's a reason for that because we give out lots of different information. As you can see here, we've got some flash flooding that's happening today. And it's going to give you the location of that. So that will pop up on your news feed that you'll be able to have access to, as well as some of the flooding that's currently happening around Victoria. So we're obviously getting quite a lot of storm activity at the moment. So it's always great to try and keep us up to date about those sorts of things as you can. So that's a little bit about our website. Like I said, emergency number is always a good one. And if you do see us out and about at any of, we go to a lot of community events out in the community where we give out lots of different brochures and information. Or if you would like to obtain some information that you can't find on the website, I'm more than happy to provide my email address as well, so that you can email me directly, and then I'm more than happy to share as much information with you. We've got fridge magnets, we've got things that you can put here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, feel free to contact me. I can chuck through my email address at some point to somebody who can share it with those here today.
Thank you so much, Miranda. That's really kind of you to offer. I might just chuck it in the chat.
Yeah, perfect.
A little bit later. I also, whilst Miranda was talking, I also popped in the obviously the SES website into the chat, and also both where you can get the app, the Vic Emergency app. So both the Google Play and the iTunes Apple one as well, because that's super helpful.
Yes.
And I thought the one thing I really didn't know was the 15 centimeters of water. That's when the car starts to become buoyant.
Yeah, I mean, obviously 4-wheel drives that have got lifts and all the rest of it, a little bit different, but your standard like hatchback and standard sedan, 15 centimeters of water is all it takes in order for you to be able to actually just push and move that car.
That's amazing. That's my takeaway for the day. I can't believe it.
There is also, so if you go onto the website, there is a video, like I said, that actually shows them. I would love to go through and show you all the videos, but we don't have the time today. But yeah, there is actually a video, because they actually did a TV advertisement around it last year. So yeah, you can actually see them pushing the car. So
that's fantastic. All right, I'll have a look at that later, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time, Miranda, especially considering you guys have, as you said before we started, you guys have been slammed this week. So it's, I can really appreciate the fact that you've taken another hour out for your community again this week.
No
so
worries.
Again,
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome. Well, we're going to move on to another type of emergency service. We have Rebecca Gray, who is the Community Safety Coordinator from the Officer Fire Brigade. Like the SES Brigade there, the Officer CFA Brigade is 100% volunteer. It was founded in 1942, and it puts the community at the centre of everything that they do in order to provide a truly effective fire and emergency service. The continuation and effective operation of their station is a direct result of the hard work of both our members and the community. So I'd like to welcome Rebecca Gray on to speak. Rebecca, thanks a lot for coming along this evening. I really appreciate your time.
No, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. And I'm actually just going to straight away share my screen. So I've put together a little slideshow.
Awesome.
All right, so tonight I'm focusing on the having a fire safe summer. So just a bit of, sorry, 2 seconds, I just need to drop this down so I can see it. So just a bit of background to who we are. So the CFA, tens of thousands of Victorians committed to protecting lives and property. We respond to a range of hazards, support our communities to be fire ready, and we work as one with our emergency services partners such as the SES, police, ambulance and so forth. Building on our proud history with one of the world's most bushfire prone environments, we know how to adapt to meet the challenges of a changing climate. The members that we have are the key to the success of the CFA because they're deeply connected within their local community and have a unique understanding of the risks within that community. All CFA members live within the area that they are a member of. So with our station here in Officer, all our members are local, so we all know the risks that come up in our community. So we're the Victorians Volunteer Fire Service operating across the state to reduce the occurrences of impacts of fire and other emergencies. We're dedicated and skilled, performing roles beyond fire suppression, including education and engaging the community, helping residents develop fire plans and responding to other emergencies as they happen. We provide statewide fire and related emergency coordination, and we're also involved in a range of non-emergency activities. Here at Officer, as it's been said, we're 100% volunteer, founded in 1942, putting the community at the centre of everything we do to provide effective fire and emergency services to the community. We're located at Station Street in Officer, where the land was donated to us, and we've continued to operate. Officer's a blend of hilly scrub and forest to the north. We've got flat grassy farmlands to the south and urban housing, which continues to rapidly grow through the centre of the town. In our station, we have 3 appliances, being our pumper, which is our fire truck for urban areas, our tanker, which is our fire truck for areas outside of the urban, and we're also a specialist station that have LPG gas support, which we use to make LPG cylinders safe when they're leaking, damaged or impacted by fire. Being 100% volunteer, we're always looking for new members within our community to join and volunteer alongside us. Simple steps to stay safe this summer is monitor the fire danger ratings, save the Victorian Bush Fire Line number in your mobile, know the most up-to-date fire danger rating for the area that you're in or that you're travelling to, find out if there's a total fire ban declared, listen to the ABC or other emergency broadcasters, check or download the Fire Ready app onto your smartphone, and stay in contact. If you're travelling, do people know where you're travelling to, especially if you're going, say, bush, where you don't have much phone reception and could potentially find yourself in a bit of trouble. What's the difference between the bans and the ratings? So a total fire ban day is legal restrictions on open fires, equipment and barbecues that prevent fires from starting. And then the fire danger ratings is to help know when the local conditions are dangerous enough to enact a bushfire plan. So the fire danger ratings, we've got the worst one, which is code red. So that's the worst conditions. Homes are not designed to withstand these type of conditions. And the safest place is to be away from the high risk bushfire areas. On days where there's a fire danger rating of severe, extreme or code red, it's better to stay in the town centres rather than out bush. Visitors to parks and forests should expect them to be closed on code red days. The code red days are rare. When forecast, they are very serious and need to be taken really serious by the community. We then move down, we've got the extreme, severe, very high, and low to moderate. So it's really important to understand what the different ratings are and what to do in each of those ratings, especially, as I said, with the severe, extreme and code red. On total fire ban days, campfires, bonfires or any kind of outdoor fire is banned. You cannot have them. On these days though, so banned, we've got the solid fuel fires, so that's your wood, charcoal and briquettes, liquid fuel barbecues, and you can't use camp ovens, wood fire pizza ovens or kettle type appliances. You can though use fixed gas or electric barbecues built into a permanent structure of brick, stone or concrete. Portable gas or electric barbecues are okay if they're designed exclusively for the meal preparation. For any kind of gas or electric barbecue, you must have a 3-metre area around the barbecue cleared of flammable material, a hose connected to a water supply or vessel with at least 10 litres of water in it, and an adult present at all times who has the means and capacity. We've then got the different levels of warning. These are the ones that will come up on the Vic Emergency app. They don't necessarily issue in any specific order, as fires can rapidly change depending on the weather, so your winds, your temperatures, your humidities and things like that. So it's really important that all advice warnings are monitored, the conditions are monitored, because they can change quickly and without notice. If you see a watch and act, you're at risk and you need to implement your bushfire plan. That's the time to leave. Emergency warnings generally means it's too late to leave and you will be impacted. And occasionally you'll see the evacuation symbol. That means that the evacuation is recommended, all procedures are in place and you need to leave the area. There's multiple places where you can find the warnings and updates. So you've got your local news, so you can listen to your ABC radios or other broadcasters. Use things such as the Vic Fire Emergency app. There is the Vic Emergency hotline. Also, you've got social media, things such as Facebook and Twitter. There's also the interpreter line if you don't speak English or you know someone who doesn't speak English, and also the national relay service for anyone who's deaf or hard of hearing. When it comes to barbecue gas bottles, they are something that do cause a lot of issues, and they can cause pretty much to ruin your holiday or your day. So when you're using a barbecue, especially if it's been a long time before uses, it's really important that you you check the cylinders, hoses and connections. So the best way to check connections is to spray the hose and regulator connections with soapy water. And if bubbles start to form, you'll know that there's gas escaping. And at that point, we recommend contacting a licensed gas fitter and not using the barbecue. Check the hoses, make sure they've not deteriorated or have any cracks or splits in them. The same with the connections. You want to make sure that they're tight, the O-rings are in good condition, and they've not cracked or split. We recommend that you don't use barbecues in windy conditions, as the burners could blow out, which then leaves a risk of a gas leak. If a fire does occur, don't try to extinguish the flames if it's not safe to do so. Immediately call 000, and if possible, turn the gas off at the meter or cylinder, but again, only if it is safe to do so. Tips on safety and survival when it comes to bushfires. Leave early. So on the days where we've got a really high fire danger rating, leaving the area early before there are any signs of fire is the safest thing. Once the fire has started, there is the chance that it will be too late to leave. If you live in a street that backs onto grassland, or the street behind that even, if any form of grass fire does break out, you need to move one street back. This will ensure your safety, but will also allow the emergency services unobstructed access to contain that fire and get that out. Also, knowing your local area information. Whether you're at home or whether you're travelling, you need to make sure that you keep up to date, know what's going on, what the fire danger rating is, the exit routes and the evacuation area. So when to call us? Always dial 000 in an emergency if you require the fire brigade, police or ambulance, or as Miranda said, SES. 000 calls are free. At any time that you need us, call us, whether it be for a fire, a car accident, leaking LPG cylinder, child locked in car or something else. For residential calls, you're not charged for us attending. People get really concerned that if we're attending their property that they'll get charged for that. Fire services generally only charge your more commercial alarmed premises, so things such as Bunnings when their alarm goes off, or the council building, pubs, clubs and so forth, but residential, you don't need to stress about being charged. And if you do need or want more bushfire information when it's not an emergency, there is a bushfire number there that you can call. You can also visit our website to find out more on these different things, different ways to contact us and so forth. As I said, we're always looking for new members to get involved. So if anyone is interested in joining the brigade and becoming a volunteer, you can contact us via the Facebook page, or there is on our website page, you can apply to join as well. There's both operational and non-operational roles. Jumping on our website gives you the ability to have a look at those different types of roles that are available within the CFA. We undertake a range of tasks from fighting fires, road rescues, emergency medical response, fundraising, marketing and community education and engagement, and we work together to connect with and help others in our communities in which we all live and work. So I'll leave the questions till the end with everyone, but that in a nutshell is CFA and us here at Officer.
Thanks, Rebecca. I appreciate that. I think one of the big main takeaways, especially coming into the summer period and people having more barbecues, is to remember to check all the hoses and the connections on your barbecue, because it's so easy just to think, oh yeah, I used that, last summer, it should be fine. Whereas, it just has to be something really, really simple. You're probably going to clean the barbecue in any case before you use it. So you might as well just pop a little bit of soapy water around all the connections and check that there's no, gas leaks coming out, which can really, as you said, that, a gas leak and explosion from a gas bottle can really ruin your holiday and ruin your weekend. So I think it's a really timely reminder to remind us of that just at the start of November as well, especially after the weekend being so beautiful as well. So thanks a lot for your time, Rebecca. I appreciate that. If you want to just hang around for a little bit whilst our next speaker speaks, and then if there are any questions, we can go to those afterwards.
Yep.
So David Farrelly's going to be joining us. He started his career in architecture, and then which led to gaining a unique experience in advanced crime prevention design practices in corrections and policing projects. His passion for his community has seen him establish a local neighbourhood watch group in Arcadia, work on various residents groups, establish a fire evacuation program, and has played a key role in community safety in the Cardinia Shire area. Today, David is a Neighbourhood Watch Victoria champion and is a chairperson for Neighbourhood Watch Cardinia. He also helps small local businesses through COVID with the program Cardinia Can. So David, if you'd like to, lead the way, please.
Thank you very much. And yes, I don't like that word champion, but our glorious CEO likes to use it. So
that's a great word. You just have to present it well. You just have to live it, David.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here, and it's good to be able to be speaking with the community about crime prevention and what Neighbourhood Watch does, both locally and across the state. For those that don't know, Neighbourhood Watch has been around for quite some time, essentially establishing itself in 1986, and that was done through Victoria Police out near Frankston, and ever since then it's evolved and changed to be the organisation that it is today, and it spreads right across Victoria, including metro and regional areas, right up to Mildura. What we probably need to cover is a couple of things. Home safety, and I'll do this nice and quickly for you. Home safety is our primary focus when it comes to Neighbourhood Watch, but we also look at issues like community safety and theft reduction issues as well. And as I mentioned, it's a crime prevention organisation run by the community for the community. We work in consultation with Victoria Police and some of the other stakeholders, depending on the time of the year, may also include CFA, SES, and some other groups as well, especially council. So when we look at what it is that Neighbourhood Watch does, we very specifically set out to satisfy some certain goals, and the understanding of the organisation for our community comes down to what Neighbourhood Watch is, what our goals are, as well as what we do in the groups and how we can help protect your home, as well as for those groups that might want to start up in a new local estate. Certainly encourage that, how we can do that. So what is Neighbourhood Watch? Well, what we do is essentially we promote those closer community ties. We want the community to be able to get to know each other. Get to know your neighbours is a common term that gets thrown around, and being able to understand the usual activities within your neighbourhood is one of those powerful tools that helps us understand when things might just be a little bit out of place. And if they're out of place, if they're suspicious, then we can consider reporting those types of things to the appropriate authorities. So as we can see here, in 1983 is when Victoria Police started the trial program, and then in 1986 it went full time. And at the moment, we've got over 5,000 members across Victoria with over 92 groups, which is just tremendous to see such fantastic engagement on a local level. Our goals are to help educate the community on issues about crime prevention and how they can improve their personal and home safety, as well as household security. We've got a number of tools in which we can do that. How Safe is My Place is probably one of the most innovative and new programs that has been rolled out through Neighbourhood Watch Victoria recently. And that's an online tool to give you the ability to do an audit of your home to see what areas you might be able to improve on very simply to be able to help provide a little bit more security to your home and therefore a little bit more security to yourself as well. We're here to actually motivate people into action. And what does that mean? Well, it means part of that engagement within the community, within your neighbourhood, with your immediate neighbours, but also to be able to report things that you see, report crime, report suspicious activity. All of that information goes to helping identify criminals, help solve crime, and in the long run, actually help reduce crime in your neighbourhood as well. When we look at what neighbourhood watch groups do from a local standpoint, and Neighbourhood Watch Arcadia does some of these things as well when there's no COVID. We attend community events. In fact, we attend community events with the guys that are here with us tonight with the CFA and with the SES. One thing comes to mind, and that's the Carols by Candlelight for the Pakenham Carols by Candlelight, which is always a great event when there's no COVID. But also we run an active Facebook page, which does have crime prevention tips and keeps the community up to date on issues that are important to the local community, as well as some safety issues when it relates to emergency situations. So Neighbourhood Watch becomes incredibly active online when there's an emergency like a fire, a bushfire, like when there's flooding, and we help direct people to the right services, which unfortunately not everybody knows. And when we saw the fires a couple of years ago in Bunyip, it was one of those very active times for all of the services, and we played our small role in being able to direct everyone to the right organisations to get help where they needed it. Safety sessions and programs, where at the moment we're obviously doing them online, but hopefully next year we're able to do in-person public forums so that we can actually take you through together with our local services, as well as Victoria Police, some issues around safety and understanding those crime prevention techniques that we employ and suggest. And the little picture here, which, oh, that looks familiar. I think I took that photo. This is a Safe Plate Day. This is one of the days that we get together a whole lot of volunteers and we'll set up in maybe a Bunnings car park, for example. No, this is not a Dan Murphy's car park. I just want to make that clear. It's actually a Bunnings car park. Bunnings is behind me when I'm taking this photo. And we set up a whole lot of witches' hats in a nice, safe way to be able to replace number plate screws with anti-theft screws. So it helps prevent theft of number plates. And the number one thing stolen from cars, I know this might come as a surprise, is actually number plates. It's not wallets, it's not purses, it's not iPhones, it's actually number plates. And that's an important program together with Victoria Police that we undertake. And one of the things that it helps achieve essentially is those people that steal number plates to commit other types of crimes. So if you can't steal a number plate to commit a petrol theft, if you can't steal a number plate to do an armed robbery or a smash and grab, if you can't steal a number plate to just be a hoon and speed around and not get caught by a speed camera, they're the sorts of things that having safe plate screws on your car's number plate can help prevent. So that's a truly proactive measure. Protecting your home. I know this might sound silly, but it's common sense really, and it's just about reminding people to be able to identify those issues that make your home more of a risk. So identify what the risk is and identify what the opportunity is there for those people that might want to break into your home, and understand what they're trying to look for. So make it risky when it comes to people wanting to invade your home or wanting to steal something from your home. Make it risky, make it hard for them. And make connections. So once again, if your neighbour sees someone hanging around your house and they don't know them, but they know you and they understand that maybe that's an unusual behaviour, they might call police. We hope that they call police. This is about those community connections that can make all the difference. So making it risky is actually, as I said, pretty much common sense. Install sensor lights so that at night time, if someone approaches your front door, a light comes on. Now, one of those things that I know most people, think that criminals might be a little silly because they're committing crime. Well, they don't want to be caught either. They're not that silly. So if they can be identified with sensor lights, or if they can be identified with CCTV cameras, they will typically leave that home alone and go for an easier target. Now, that might not help out someone down the street, but if you're doing the right things, it might actually help you. A good line of sight is actually something that's underestimated as well. So for a lot of people, the first thing they tell me when they want to do a more secure home is that they want to put up a big front fence and protect everyone, keep everyone locked out. But actually getting rid of a line of sight to your front door is something that a criminal will love, because once they get over the fence, no one can see them. They can do whatever they want. They can take as long as they want. So a good line of sight's important. Keep fences low, keep shrubs trimmed so that people can, from the street passing by, or and I have just changed for some reason, my headset. Can you still hear me? Yeah, okay, good. What we also like to do is look at some hardware issues. So locks to your doors, especially your front door, and hinges to your doors, especially your front door. Good quality locks can be the difference between someone breaking in or not breaking in. One of the most common ways to break into a house is actually through the front door, and it's through an unlocked front door, believe it or not. So that's when a lock is important to use, as well as have a good quality lock. You use your lock, your chances of someone breaking in are much lower. And having good quality hinges, I know this might sound odd, and a lot of builders today just don't do it. Having a hinge on your door is the weak point usually on the door. And if you don't have screws which go through into the frame, and they're only very short screws and they only go into the jamb, then that's the weak part of the door, and it is easy to knock them down. So that's an easy fix. Just go into Bunnings, get some longer screws and stick them in. Oops, too fast. Make connections, say hi to your neighbours, get to know your neighbours, get to know their activities, their patterns. Do they take their kids to school in the morning and pick them up, and are they pulling into the driveway at certain times? Do they work night shift? Do they work day shift? Is there usually somebody at home for that house next to you? Those types of bits of information can really empower you to help keep your neighbourhood safe, and then be able to report issues that stand out to you that might be suspicious to police or crime stoppers. How to start a group? Well, easy. Follow us on Facebook, Neighbourhood Watch Arcadia. You can also visit the website, nhw.com.au, but you can also contact me and email me, and I'm more than happy to come and have a conversation with you and discuss Neighbourhood Watch a little bit further in person, now that we can meet people in person, which will be lovely. And I'll finish with a quote, if I might. I'm going to change the screen and share something else. No, share the same thing, and then I'm going to change the screen. There we go. Sir Robert Peel, back in 1829, he's known as the father of policing. He started up the Metropolitan Police Force in London, first official police force in the world. And he's got some policing principles that he let everyone know, and the world really runs to these principles today. And one of the key issues that he mentioned was that if you maintain, this is for police, maintain a relationship with the public at all times, it gives you a much better idea of how to police, and that the police are the public, and that the public are the police. Now, what does that mean? It means that we need to work together. It means that we need to help the police just as much as the police need to help us when we need it. And we've never seen that happen
more frequently, more incredibly than what's just occurred in Western Australia, where every single little bit of information that's being delivered to the police through Crime Stoppers, through the police assistance line over there in Western Australia, has led to being able to discover young Chloe, safe and well, which is amazing. And it's just this little bit of information, that little bit of information that might seem insignificant. You heard a child crying, but you know, a child crying isn't unusual, but would there normally be a child crying from that location? Those types of little bits of information can help solve crime. And it's why it's very important to work together with the police as the community to be able to report crime to the appropriate locations, 000, Crime Stoppers 1-800 333 000, and the police assistance line 131 444. They're the three numbers that you need to know. Put them in your phone. And that is Neighbourhood Watch.